Welcome to the Terrible Podcast with your hosts from SteelersDepot.com, where you can find all your latest and greatest Steelers news. It's Dave Bryan and Alex Kozora, always lit, talking Steelers.
And now, here's Dave and Alex.
Welcome to the Terrible Podcast, another special edition of the Terrible Podcast. Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2025. I am Dave Bryan from SteelersDepot.com. It is August the 5th. It is Tuesday night. It is almost 8:30 Eastern Time. And with me, as usual, back from yet another trip to Saint Vincent College in Latrobe to observe Steelers training camp practice, Alex Kozora. Alex, happy Tuesday to you. We got quite a bit to talk about, I think, today, coming off of the day off of training camp on Monday. So how are you, first and foremost?
Doing well, and happy game week, too. Pittsburgh plays a game this Saturday, the preseason opener against Jacksonville, so it's a different tone, a little different feel, more situational football today, some 2-minute, but as you said, Dave, plenty to talk about.
Yeah, well, first we get started with a little bit of housekeeping and a shout out to our sponsor of these special editions of the Terrible Podcast. That would be Touring Plans. You can visit Touring Plans at touringplans.com. What is Touring Plans? Well, Touring Plans is will handle all your needs for anything Disney related. If you're planning a trip, whether it's to Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruises, I guess you could include Epcot and all that, all those attractions in it. Anything that you need related to finding out what's going on with Disney and making accommodations. You can get information on line times and fast pass information, anything and everything related to Disney. Make sure you're checking out Lynn Testa's site, touringplans.com. They also have a great app as well, too. They have a blog up there on the site as well, too, and you can keep up to date on anything related to Disney attractions on that as well, too. So Lynn Testa and Touring Plans has been a long time sponsor of the Terrible Podcast special editions during training camp, and we thank him for doing so once again, and hopefully you've got that site bookmarked at this point. So touringplans.com for all your Disney needs. All right, Alex, let's see. We got a little bit we're right here in the dog days of summer, and all that means a lot to talk about when it comes to comings and goings as far as the health of the team goes. And we even had, unfortunately, a little quarterback injury today. So I'll let you take over and tell us who's back partially, who's not back, and who got dinged up today.
Players not working on Tuesday. Gareth Warren, that's a left knee on Warren. He went through stretch line, did some jogging on the side, and so hopefully he will be back sooner than later. Corey Trice Jr. with a hamstring. Dante Kent, the right foot, leg remain out. Alex Highsmith missed with a groin injury, suffered Sunday. There was no wrap visible, so that's hopefully a good sign. Calvin Austin continues to miss. He looks okay, but something he's dealing with. Jalen Ramsey got an off day, his first of training camp, and Calvin Anderson, offensive tackle, continues to miss with maybe an oblique or something hurt on Friday night. Practicing today, Pat Frymuth after a day off. Joey Porter Jr. was partial individual period. He was not in team, but that's a good sign for Porter, of course. Asazi Otomewa returned full. He got hurt last Wednesday in 7 shots, that first padded practice, so good news there. Cam Hayward was a partial. He's been partial basically all of training camp in pads. 2 in-practice injuries. Jonnu Smith with a knee, per Mike Tomlin, that happened late in practice. And then the big one you mentioned, Dave, Will Howard, the rookie quarterback. I don't know exactly when it happened. I didn't personally see him leave. I just realized Skylar Thompson in the 13 period was going in, and Howard was nowhere to be found. Tomlin calling it a right hand injury. That's his throwing hand, by the way. He believes it happened on an exchange that may have happened in 7 shots where there was a botched play, and I think it was Howard in the game. He finished it out, and he went through the second team period, threw a pass, and I guess left sometime after that. So what is your kind of, obviously none of us really saw it, none of us really know, but from what Tomlin said, what was kind of your tone on maybe how serious that is?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you hope it's not serious. Mike Tomlin seemed to downplay the Jonnu Smith knee more so, and we'll just have to wait and see on this. I think one of the beat writer, I think Kabali said Howard gave a thumbs up or whatnot, and we'll just have to wait and see on that. Hopefully, it's just not serious enough that maybe. We'll see if he's back out there on Wednesday, and at worst, maybe gets back out there on Thursday. Hopefully, more than anything, this just doesn't cost him playing time Saturday, right? I mean, if you talk about one guy that you really would like to see out there Saturday night against the Jaguars, it's Will Howard. So there's not a lot of information. Maybe stuff will come out on this a little bit more this evening or into Wednesday morning, but hopefully everything's just precautionary at this point. But we'll just have to hold our breath and wait and see, and more than anything, hope it doesn't cost him any playing time Saturday night in this preseason game.
What did Mike Tomlin say exactly? Do you have the transcript up of those comments?
He said
Something
first and
caught my
foremost,
eye.
no new news on a lot of those guys' status that we've been talking about. A lot of people working their way back. Joey Porter was partial participant today, for an example. I guess the big news is Will Howard left with a hand injury that's being evaluated. He says Jonnu Smith left with some knee soreness. We'll evaluate him as well. That appears to be less significant, but we're examining Will Howard. We'll see where it takes us. And then later on, he says, I think Howard's injury came on an exchange from center, but I didn't have eyes on it. It was his right hand.
I know I'm putting my foil hat on very early in this episode, Dave, but whenever Tomlin said it's less significant, was that relative to Howard, or was that just relative to Smith himself and saying it was a less significant knee issue for Jonnu Smith?
The way it looks like he said, because he said Jonnu Smith left with some knee soreness. We'll evaluate him as well. That appears to be less significant. I see what you're saying by
You see
him
what I mean?
saying less significant. So does that mean less significant than Will Howard's injury,
Right.
or less significant overall?
To a serious knee injury.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as you said, we shall see. Hopefully, he can get out there because he needs these reps for a rookie to play in this weekend's game. So we'll stay tuned.
Yeah. I mean, once again, let's see. You got Wednesday and then Thursday, and then what do they do? Walk through and travel on Friday, or will they even walk through on Friday? Just travel.
Honestly, Thursday's practice will probably be basically a walkthrough. They'll probably do another walkthrough Friday and then travel, either probably get a little leave Friday night and then maybe Saturday morning do a walkthrough in a ballroom hotel. That's pretty common, and then go out there for game day.
How about take your tinfoil hat off? Don't scare us. But that is, I mean, if you contextualize it all out, yeah, I mean, I can see why you did kind of focus in on the word significant there. We'll see. We do have one other kind of injury update to pass along, and that's on Dean Lowry, right?
Yeah, he announced on Instagram that he suffered an ACL injury. I can assume that's torn to some degree. It says it'll likely end this season, but he's on IR, and I doubt an injury settlement's coming from an ACL injury, so his season is effectively over. So unfortunate for Dean Lowry. I believe that is to the right knee. Lowry didn't say that, but whenever I saw him in practice on Sunday, he had a bunch of padding on that right knee. So I assume that is the one that he suffered the injury and the likely tear too. So unfortunate for Dean Lowry. He was getting some good reps in training camp, but he will spend the season on injured reserve.
Yeah, I think the only mystery right now, and we'll find out probably in the next week or so, is whether or not he had a split clause in his contract or not, because it sounds like he's going to be on IR for the entire season. And if that's the case, you wonder if that's at the full base, or if he has the split salary in there. I don't think he does, but I've been wrong about that before. But that's the only mystery related to him. Okay, well, obviously we hope Jonnu Smith. We'll see if he's back out there, and see if some of these other guys can get back out there in time to play in the game on Saturday night. It certainly is shaping up, though, for the starting outside linebackers on this team to be Jack Sawyer and Nick Herbig, right?
It does. It seems that way, and Herbig probably will play just a little bit. Expect a lot of playing time for Jack Sawyer.
All right, and then probably going to get relieved by DeMarvin Leal. So sign me up for that. I look forward to seeing Leal and Sawyer and a couple of those outside linebackers play a lot of snaps in this game. All right, let's start with the offense.
We have a transaction to go over
Oh,
quickly too. Right?
Forgot. Yeah, we got a new number 39.
Yeah, Minkah Fitzpatrick's number has officially been given out to the new signing cornerback Daryl Porter Jr. He practiced in full today in a corresponding move, the team waiving tight end Kevin Fulch. And so it's very weird to see a 39 out there that is not Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I think they just basically ran out of numbers to give to DBs, and so he's taken 39 for camp.
All right. And they had brought in a couple other DBs for workouts. I don't know if we need to get to that or not, but they definitely are definitely have been short at the at that position here, and thus that's why they signed another Porter. So he'll probably be D Porter Jr. If he sticks around long enough to play Saturday night. All right, let's go to the offensive side of football. Let's start with the offensive line and give us any updates, relevant updates there.
They were in pads. It wasn't quite as intense as other practices, Sundays, for example, but still some stuff to evaluate. I think overall, of your starting five, the guy in a vacuum who's had the best camp is right tackle Troy Fautanu. Still good reps with TJ Watt in O-line, D-line today. Watt has some reps, obviously, but I think just overall, just looking at the camp performance, Fautanu has been the best guy out there. Spencer Anderson did play left tackle today, a fair amount of left tackle, too. So even though Broderick Jones is back and Say Malu is back, and they're getting about 95% of the team period snaps they would normally get. They get pulled out a little bit early occasionally, but Spencer Anderson got a good amount of left tackle work. He also played some right guard. So he's played left guard, left tackle, and right guard, I think all probably today and certainly throughout training camp. And then just overall, and this kind of goes with Anderson as well, just the backups have not been super impressive. I want to see these guys inside a stadium, obviously get a better feel for it then, the old 22, etc. But I just don't see a whole lot of standouts there. Calvin Anderson had some good reps early in camp before getting hurt. Dylan Cook has been okay, but it's not been amazing. Jack Sawyer's had some good reps against him. McCullum, you kind of know what you're getting there. He's battled some injuries. Anderson kind of is who he is. I'm just not seeing a whole lot of great standouts there.
And if Gareth Warren wants to play, he better get on the field quick, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, right?
Well, I think he's working back. I mean, he was doing some jogging and moving around pretty well today, so hopefully it's a day-to-day type of thing, but obviously all those reps that are missed or lost, and that's really forcing Spencer Anderson to kick out and play some left tackle. So, yeah, it's just, Stephen Jones has gotten reps, and he's been versatile. He's a big guy that's pretty powerful, but yeah, just, again, I think an O-line addition is going to come before September 7th.
All right, let's go to tight end position. What do you have for us today?
A little bit quieter today. Smith leaving, obviously, is kind of the headliner there. It's been just a quiet camp for Pat Fryman. He's not been terrible. He's gotten looks in 7 shots in goal line type situations, but Washington a little bit quieter today. Connor Hayward kind of had the, Three Stooges moment of the day. Rodgers firing, and it came out hot down the right seam. Perfect pass from Rodgers, but hit off Hayward's face mask and bounced back up and was picked off by Patrick Queen. So just one of those moments. I found it more humorous than anything else. The internet didn't love it and didn't find it as funny as I did. But that was probably the moment of the day for the tight ends and not a particularly good one for Connor Hayward.
I think our Tim Rice has a great shot of that being right on his hands there, and you say it obviously went through and got off the face mask there. A lot of people who follow this team sure are hoping for Connor Hayward's time to be up.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now he's inside the bubble, especially with DJ Thomas Jones getting hurt and him just getting back. I mean, Galbraith has been impressive, a little bit quieter since the pads have come on. He still looks more practice squad, so I think Hayward's going to make it as things stand today. That's not etched in stone. But, he's going to be a number 4 tight end, a special teamer, occasional fullback. So he's not going to be playing a ton anyway.
All right, wide receiver. Nice day for Roman Wilson, sounds like.
Best day for Roman Wilson at training camp. And boy, did he need that. Now, it is just one day. I always talk about stacking days, but give the guy credit where it's due. He had a good connection with Aaron Rodgers today, a 30-yard catch downfield, a really nice sliding catch in 7 shots in a scramble drill where Rodgers looked right and then came left. And Wilson made kind of the sliding in the second base grab there for the touchdown. So Good day for him. Another good day for, or I should say, additionally, a good day for Max Hurlman, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Notre Dame. He had a good connection with Skylar Thompson in the 2-minute drill. And then in the one-on-one competition period for the final rep, kind of a winner take all, a loser does push-ups. It was him and I believe Deshaun Jameson. Those guys were battling throughout that period. Hurlman made a nice diving catch on an out route and won. And so the defense had to do push-ups. And so just a nice day for Hurlman, who's a quality athlete.
All right. Anything from Robert Woods today? And we haven't talked a lot about Brandon Johnson so far during these updates.
Woods, he had a couple catches, but nothing super notable today. He's getting some additional reps with Calvin Austin being out. Ben Skoranek, by the way, got checked out by trainers briefly, but he returned and finished out practice. Looks okay. Yeah, Brandon Johnson has been really kind of not a touchdown machine, but that's where he's made his hay. He's had, I think, his 4th touchdown at training camp was caught today. And he's not really made a lot of plays in open field between the 20s, but some of that red zone work, his size, boxing guys out on slant routes, those types of things, that's his wheelhouse. So yeah, that's a guy that you kind of sit back and wonder, why didn't he play more last year when he had all the injuries and George Pickens goes down, his connection with Russell Wilson, those two were in Denver together. Zach Kazani knows him well. He coached him, I believe, in Denver. So I don't know why that guy didn't get more of a look last year. Lack of special teams value probably played a factor in that. Is he going to make the 53 this year? Probably not, but he might hang around the practice squad.
All right. Anything developing on Rock Taylor today?
Dude catches back shoulder fades really well. He's got a good feel for it. He's got size, obviously. He caught another one today. So he's got a couple of those in training camp. That was probably the most notable thing. Had one completion over the middle, a little double catch, but it was a slight bobble, but still you want to make sure you secure it. So he made a couple plays too.
All right. What do you have on the running backs today?
Not a lot. There weren't as many live tackling sessions. I think the most interesting comment I can give you on the running backs is, Dave, there was a 3rd backs on backers drill, which I don't remember them doing 3 in one training camp, basically 3 in less than a week. They did it last Wednesday, Friday, and then today. And I didn't even see it at first. Our Tim Rice hat tipped to him. He was like, Alex, are you not watching the backs on backers? Like they're doing backs on backers. Now, this was not quite as physical or intense as it usually is. I think it was a little more instructional than it was all out battle because the guys weren't going as hard. There wasn't that big circle around them of everyone getting hyped up. So I think it was a little more just trying to work on technique. And I don't know if that just means they want the running backs to clean things up in pass protection. Maybe they looked at the off day and thought the running backs aren't doing a great job. Let's drill this again. But the running backs did well overall. But again, it was a little less about winning and more about just having good technique.
Real quick, I want to go back to the wide receiver. Forgot to ask you about Max Hurlman. Seemed like he was really, really active, at least in the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, he was. Like I said, with Skylar Thompson, he had a 30-yard catch downfield, and then Thompson found him a play or two later. So I don't have the exact stats on that. But yeah, Hurlman made his plays in those situational kind of weighty moments.
All right. And he most definitely is considered still a wide receiver by this team, right?
Yes, he's been, aside from that one running back carry early in camp in which he fumbled, he has been a receiver and a punt returner, and he's worked with gunner. So he's going to work on multiple phases and multiple teams on special teams, but he's a receiver through and through offensively.
All right. DJ Thomas Jones, where's he at in the process now?
I mean, he's full. I mean, he came back full on, Sunday? So that's good in terms of the impact. Not a lot of targets. He's had 2 of them in training camp. So, he's getting reps and that's good. Probably work on special teams some, but, just good he's out there, but not a whole lot to report beyond that.
Have they lined him up at fullback in his last couple of practices?
No, not once, which you think he might get some reps there. They've had a lot of other guys get fullback reps, whether that's Pat Frymuth with a rep, Connor Hayward, JJ Galbraith, Mark Robinson, of course, getting those reps Sunday. But you would think Thomas Jones would get that chance. I know missing time maybe changed some of those plans and set him back a little bit, but he's played some Y off, but he's not really played any true fullback.
All right. How about some Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the quarterbacks today?
Yeah, Rodgers, you really feel that arm still being live. There were a couple of those throws like that one to Hayward and others where that ball is just rocketed. So whenever he's got a good platform, he can fire it. And even one really good throw off platform to his left, TJ Watt chasing him from behind and just flicked it to Robert Woods for, I think I had it down maybe a 13-yard gain. So it wasn't this 50-yard bomb, but it was a really nice play to throw off platform. And again, you're seeing the arm angle change. You're seeing the quick release. He had, I'm pretty sure, a no-look pass to, I believe it was Jalen Warren in the flat in that 2-minute drill. So, yeah, the arm angles, the way that he can kind of contort his body and fit the ball around people and get the ball out quickly. He's even doing a drill. I should have taken a photo after practice where he was getting some extra reps with DK Metcalf, but he was doing a drill with a coach. I can't describe it well, but he was somehow, it's like flicking the ball almost underhand to the coach and then throwing, regular motion downfield. So just kind of the little things he does to try to work on that release is pretty interesting.
All right. Obviously, how did Will Howard do before he left?
He threw a touchdown, I think, in 7 shots, right? Let me try to find that in my notes somewhere. I mean, he had those 2 periods. Let's see. Yeah, he was the one that hit Brandon Johnson for a touchdown. It was a good read working from the flat to the slant route and finding Johnson on a well-placed ball, but only a couple attempts before he got hurt. And if he did get hurt in that exchange issue in that 7th play, 7 shots, then I don't know exactly what happened there, obviously, but we've seen some of those exchange problems and handoff issues throughout camp with Howard, especially more recently. So that's got to get cleaned up whenever he gets back.
All right. Really consistent camp so far from Mason Rudolph, I take it?
Yeah, it really has. I know I don't talk about him a whole lot, but it is just kind of one of those vets that you just expect to be good, practice in and practice out, and he is. So it's all solid marks. Had our training camp stats go up on Tuesday morning. The numbers look good. It's just an additional data point there. And Skylar Thompson, I thought, ran a good 2-minute drill, was able to push the ball downfield more than I have seen him in the past, obviously getting a lot more reps with Will Howard being out because Howard was really kind of pulling away from Thompson rep-wise throughout that last 4 set of practices last week. So nice to see that for Thompson, even though the offense did not put the ball in the end zone. Neither did Rodgers in the first team unit. He got picked. It's a rocket over the middle to Roman Wilson. I think Eccles tipped it or got a hand on it and was picked off by Thornhill. But the second team offense with Thompson, I thought, moved the ball pretty well.
All right. Let's see. Did we get all the offense in? I think we did. All right. Let's flip over to the defensive side of football, defensive line. And I think at one point, one of the most interesting things is you tweeted out today, I think Wyatt Black got some first team reps today.
He did. Now, Cam Hayward had a partial day, so that's one influencing factor, but usually the first team right defensive end is Isaiah Loudermilk, and Wyatt Black was getting a good chunk of those reps today. So, he's had a good camp. I think they're going to reward him with some of that first team playing time. And also, I think this happened in 7 shots, but I didn't get a good read on it. I definitely saw it in the second team session. Had a 4 down front, a true 4 defensive lineman front. I forget the 4 that I had. I think it was Harmon and Benton and Black and Loudermilk. Yeah, those were the 4. So it was a 4-4-3 with 4 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, still your 2 inside guys, Wilson and Queen, your 2 edge guys, which in that moment was Watt and Herbig. And then I didn't make a good note of the DBs. I think it was the 2 corners, which today would have been Slay and Eccles, because Ramsey had the day off and Porter didn't work in team. And then Elliott as that safety. That makes the most amount of sense to me. So Pittsburgh's talked about some new defensive wrinkles. I've seen some more blitzing today and that 4-4 grouping in that run period.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm really Logan Lee is a guy I'm going to have my him and Wyatt Black, I think, are 2 guys I really look for, and Aquale, because he's new as well too. Those are 3 guys on that defensive line, obviously along with Derek Harmon, that I look forward to watching on Saturday night against the Jaguars there. All right, inside linebacker, what's going on there?
Just one last note on defensive line with Harmon. Quick first step, really good first step, and that really is evident in some of those one-on-one drills where you really see him be able to burst off the ball. You said inside linebacker next group?
Yes.
Not a ton to note today. I think Peyton Wilson had an active day, looked good in run sessions. Carson Bruner made some plays too. Fehoko, by the way, in D-line was active, so he's had a couple of notable practices since re-signing with the team. So yeah, inside backer today. I would say Peyton Wilson stuck out a little bit.
All right. Outside linebacker, obviously no Highsmith. Like we stated at the top of the show, it sounds like we're going to see Sawyer and Herbig probably open things up Saturday night, and then Leal probably going to come in for Herbig. What else is going on with that group?
Yeah, Sawyer's rushed well. He rushes smart, a lot of moves. I think Mike Tomlin made a comment about him today. He's a big guy, too. He was talking with Tim Rice, and we're just saying, yeah, this guy's really well built, and it's not your skinny speed rusher that some teams have and Pittsburgh has. You look at him versus Eku Leota, he's had a nice camp, but just a different body type there, and Sawyer's a guy certainly built to play the run, built more in that Watt mold. I don't know, that Highsmith mold. Not quite as built as Bud Dupree was, but certainly a big type of outside linebacker. But he had a nice practice, I thought, overall today. Sawyer did. And then just watching in that O-line, D-line period, it's usually one-on-one, but they will intermix some two-on-two, some stunts by the defense and stunt pickup by the offensive line. And Watt and Harmon had a really good rush where Harmon was the contain guy, and so he was the crasher into the B gap that's going to contain that, and then Watt is the looper inside into the A gap, and Harmon did a nice job really occupying McCormick, who was the right guard, the interior guy, so Watt could loop in free. I know Watt talked about, forget where, but recently about working on stunt pickup, or not stunt pickup, but working on stunts with Harmon, knowing that those guys will be together the most this year, with they're both being left side players. Primarily, Watt's going to move a little bit, but primarily Harmon lefty and lefty tackle, and Watt left outside linebacker. So it was nice to see those guys have a good rep, and they kind of, I think Harmon slapped Watt's helmet after they were kind of celebrating that moment of a really good rep.
All right, Mike Tomlin had some nice things to say about Sawyer after practice today. He said he's done a nice job. He's highly competitive. I'm equally as impressed with what he's doing in special teams because essentially he played D-end at college, and so he's playing on his feet and playing in some space and doing a nice job. So a little bit of an attaboy so far. This guy better have a good breakfast Saturday morning because he's probably going to log a lot of defensive snaps and probably a good, 8 to 12 probably on special teams. We'll see.
Sure, he's going to play a ton of snaps. I mean, we'll
Right.
have that conversation, I'm sure, Friday about who's going to play the most snaps on each side of the ball, but
Right.
Sawyer's going to be up there.
All right, let's go to the defensive backs. And as you mentioned at the top of the show, Ramsey getting the first vet day here. Slay, probably about a half a day. Porter worked in individuals, so a lot of backup cornerbacks got some time to get some extra reps today.
Right, and that included the new guy, Daryl Porter Jr. Used to be if a new guy signed, he would take a couple days, go through individual work, they'd ease him in. Not anymore. It's you sign, you're in full. We're gonna throw you, into the fire, onto the train tracks, and just see how you do. And that's true of any position, not just with a guy like Porter Jr. But yeah, not a ton of notes. Slay, I think he was subbed out a little bit, maybe like 3/4 practice, but I don't want to get too fractional on the day that Darius Slay had. Ramsey getting the day off, and so that was more time for Eccles, more time for Beanie Bishop as a first team slot corner, who's come on a little bit stronger, I think, these last couple of practices, but nothing really sticking out in a big way. I thought Pierre had some good coverage. He had a good contest against DK Metcalf. I think helped, as Metcalf came down on a little jump ball, a little fade route from Rodgers, right sideline. Pierre able to kind of play down through the hands and help create an incompletion against Metcalf. So, Pierre stuck out, and he's had a couple of good practices.
Did Killebrew have it? Was Killebrew interception today? Did he have one today?
I think it was in 7-on-7. I was
Okay.
watching the O-line, D-line. I think Tim had said that Killebrew picked off a pass, but I don't know the context of it.
Has he been the backup strong, though? The primary backup strong?
Yes. I mean, I just really call them, at this point, they're just strong and free are so interchangeable,
Right.
it feels like. But the second team safeties behind Thornhill and Elliott, whenever Ramsey's not playing safety, has been Chuck Clark and Miles Killebrew. Third teamers have been Sebastian Castro and Quindell Johnson.
Okay. All right. Anything else left over from the defensive backs? Boy, what a small group they got right now with all those guys out.
Yeah, that's why you had to add somebody like Porter and not. Is it a good sign, I guess, that Trice and Kent didn't get put on IR? Maybe that means there's some hope they're going to get back here sooner than later.
Well, I mean, if you want either one of those guys to go to IR and designated return, though, you got to keep them.
Sure.
So you keep your fingers crossed. We'll just have to wait. Say, man, you really want to see Kent get back and. But it doesn't seem like he's going to practice for this weekend's game. Man, he can't. It's bad enough missing time, but missing time underneath the lights is even more detrimental to you.
Right. I thought Castro was active in team run defense today, so that was a small note, but another one on Castro after a really good Sunday practice.
All right, got anything on special teams for us today?
Punters punted, have those charted up on the site. I thought both punted well. Both had some really good punts to close things out. Hang times of +47 seconds, about almost 70 yards. Now, granted, there is no true rush, but still, that was good. Who was better? I don't know. Maybe Johnston a little bit better than Waitman, but both were good overall. I think both are having good camps.
All right. Walk us through 7 shots and then walk us through 2-minute drill stuff.
Yeah, it was a good day for the offense in 7 shots and probably needed that with all the scrutiny and just some of the public pressure and probably internally feeling like we need to have a good day overall. So first play, Rodgers fade ball to Metcalf completely. That was working over Brandon Eccles playing left cornerback. Second play, really this would have been a sack or a stop by the defense. It took over 5 seconds for the ball to come out, but Rodgers eventually found Jonnu Smith breaking open right side for a touchdown. So we'll give it to the offense, but some context there. Third play was the completion, the touchdown to Roman Wilson. Rodgers looking right, coming back left. That nice snag by Roman. So 3 straight touchdowns.
Who was out of the first team defense in those first 3 reps? In other words, who was missing from the starting defense in that first 7 shots?
Yeah, no Ramsey, no Hayward, no Highsmith. I think everybody else was in.
All right. Okay.
And then fourth play, shotgun handoff to Caleb Johnson. I don't know if they were really doing live tackling, but he scored, so I'll give him the touchdown there. Fifth play was a completion from Rudolph to Galbraith. I think he was short by a half yard. There were no officials, but based on reactions and my viewpoint, I'm going to call that a defensive win. Sixth play was that good read by Howard, finding Brendan Johnson for the touchdown. And then seventh play was that exchange issue. I didn't get a good look at it. The Marvin Lealdo picked up the ball and was running the other way. That might have been the play Howard got hurt on and tried to gut out to the next team period. But offense winning 5-2-2.
All right. What about the 2-minute periods?
Yeah, 2 minutes. So the ball at the 40, 1 timeout. That's the offense's 40, 1 timeout. Rodgers had a couple good throws. That was the really nice throw to Robert Woods off platform. Where am I at here? I got to try to find where I'm at. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting myself mixed up here. First play was Rodgers to Freiermuth, a couple short throws, and then a good throw downfield to Freiermuth, but then that ended in the interception by Thornhill. They got down to, I think, I don't know, around the 20 whenever that pass got picked off. Then the backups came in. Thompson led a good drive, hit Hurlman downfield for, I think, 25 or so yards. Hit him again to the 3-yard line, but then they stalled out there. 4th and goal. Gainwell was open. It was a tight throw. It's always going to be tight throw in the low red zone, but just dropped it. It was a good ball from Thompson, and Gainwell could not corral it. So they were stopped 1 yard short. I think there's going to be some debate about did Robert Woods score the play before, 2 plays before. Tomlin said he didn't, and he's the official in this one, so we'll say he did not score.
The offense looked a little bit more fluid today.
Yeah, I would say so. The run game wasn't particularly notable, but they weren't as live, and so it's a little harder to tell. But yeah, I think the offense was a little more fluid, a little more successful, even though they technically didn't score on either of the 2-minute drills. The defense is 4 for 4 over the 2 days they've done that, the Friday Night Lights practice and then today. But it felt like the offense had some more wins and at least some individuals of, Roman Wilson especially stepping up and making plays.
All right, what was the best thing you saw today on offense and on defense?
You're getting more specific with these questions, offense and defense. I think the catch by Roman Wilson in 7 shots was a good play, just in general, no matter who made it. But then for him personally, a lot of heat on him. The numbers haven't been there. So he seems like a pretty even-keeled guy, which I can appreciate the mentality there. So that's probably the best thing offensively. And then best thing defensively, that's a good question. Also, the Rodgers throw to Robert Woods was a really good off-platform throw. Defensively, I just Harmon watching the first step, maybe not an individual moment, but just kind of watching him in O-line, D-line, that burst that he has off the ball is really encouraging for the first-round pick.
All right, you starting to get a pretty good feel about this team at this point?
Yeah, I mean, the offense is interesting. We'll probably talk about it more for the regular Wednesday show. How do you judge the offensive struggles versus a defense that looks very good? And is that more just a defense being great and the offense trying to take some time to coalesce and new pieces come together? And I think even Daniel Jeremiah had a tweet about, the offenses typically lag behind defenses. So I'm still trying to kind of wade through my thoughts on the offense overall, but yeah, I think you're getting a good feel for, who's standing out, who's not, who's lining up where, that kind of stuff in practice.
All right. You will be back out at Saint Vincent College in Latrobe on Wednesday. We will be back Wednesday night to recap what you saw in between there. We will have a Wednesday morning edition, regular edition of the Terrible Podcast, and we'll find several things. There'll be plenty to talk about within and all that. The whole depth chart thing came out, and everybody freaks out about that every year. So we'll go over that in its entirety. Probably recap the health of the team again for everybody that maybe didn't get a chance to listen to the recap podcast. I know Keenan Allen has signed, I think, back with the Chargers. I think some other. We'll talk smelling salts and. I guess ammonia and all like that. I don't know. We'll have to get a pretty good list together, but there'll be no shortage of things to talk about for the Wednesday podcast. Alex, okay, appreciate your time once again. You can follow me on Twitter at Steelers Depot. Follow Alex at Alex_Kozora. Follow the show at Terrible Podcast. Email the show, theterriblepodcast@gmail.com. If you like what we do and want to donate, SteelersDepot.com. Hit the donate button. Also, if you like an ad-free version of the site, SteelersDepot.com. Hit the ad-free button and follow the directions that way. So until Wednesday morning, as always, thanks for listening to the Terrible Podcast, another special edition of the Terrible Podcast, Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2025 with Dave and Alex.